Sure, it says the cat's meow. It's a cat store, but this is where you come to get Socks. Socks, the cat, we mean. The Clintons' feline, who will soon oust Millie the dog as the country's first pet.
It's been 12 years since there's been a cat in the White House, so we're all, ta-da! We demo cats, we're all excited.
That's right, Pam Gibson is a registered demo cat, a cat lover. And the current cat craze, sparked by the Clintons' pet of choice, means a boom for business at her store. Anything that resembles the tuxedo cat look worn by Socks is a hot seller.
Kind of anything with a black and white theme, black and white jewelry, like these. I actually have socks with black and white cats on them, so we have socks with socks.
Gibson's own creation is a Socks t-shirt. Nobody has the marketing rights to Socks yet, and it's a popular Christmas gift. And she sold 300 of these first kitty prints by a local artist. There's also a Socks scrapbook at the store tracking the first cat-to-be's popularity, and the folks here have actually corresponded with Socks.
Yes, Ms. Clarity, the manager of the store, wrote a letter to Socks, just a few days after the election, because she would like to be his partner at the inaugural ball.
This is Clarity. We're told she runs things here at the store, and you know, she hasn't heard back from Socks yet.
And the inauguration is less than a week away. What's a girl to do?
We've called the governor's mansion several times, and they're getting a little upset with this.
So probably all Miss Clarity will see of Socks is what's for sale at the store. Carl Click for NBC News.
Ice fishing may not be the winter's most popular sport.
I think a lot of people, in the wintertime, people have a tendency of staying in the house. They don't get out there, or they're tangled up with hockey, so these kids don't get a chance to get out and learn what the outdoors is all about.
Matt seems interested in learning more about this Northland sport. The afternoon was spent learning the fundamentals of fishing through the ice and telling a good fish story.
Well, my dad's rod went down, then he showed me, and then I went and put it up, and then I just caught it. He's dead now. Bye, fish.
Matt wasn't having much luck, but hey, if you can't win, make sure the other guy can't win either, and get a friend to help. Meanwhile, others were learning about sharing good times and good luck.
Oh, I had some good luck, so I thought Chris has been here before me. So I gave him the rabbit's foot, so he can have some good luck.
Well, Matt may not have caught the biggest fish in Lake Superior, but he's happy with the one he got. The Scoutmaster hopes the kids will stick with ice fishing as they grow older.
Most kids are interested. It's more, you have more problem getting the parents interested in the outdoors than the kids.
But how could you say no to a face like this?
It's a little cold, but it's fun. The kids are having fun, so we just hope we catch something soon.
Well, Matt, maybe if you ask a few more times, your mom will let you take it home and keep it in a jar. Of course, the best part of ice fishing is just relaxing. On the St. Louis River, Derek Hines, News 6.
Anybody that plays around with any type of weapon, especially guns, certainly there's always that possibility that they'll get more aggressive.
I guess are you looking at this as just kind of random acts of violence or
The American people have summoned the change we celebrate today. Students at UMD took a break from studying for midterms today and gathered around the TV to watch Bill Clinton's inaugural address. Overall, students were impressed and gave the speech high marks.
I liked his speech. It was, like they said, it was a lot like John F. Kennedy's speech where they say tomorrow and press forward and change things, unlike the last 12 years where Reagan and Bush pretty much wanted to stay the course and do the same things they've always done.
I thought it was really, really great. I'm really excited about Clinton being president. I just think so many things are going to happen in the next 4 years.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
But it's Clinton's actions, not his words, that these students and the rest of the nation will be judging him on over the next 4 years. Students here hope stabilizing the economy and ensuring them jobs on graduation day are at the top of the new president's priority list.
The biggest one I hope is the economy, and then jobs. I'm hoping for a job when I leave here. This is my reason for coming, and to leave here after and get a degree and not have anywhere to go after that is really depressing.
Whether the man who arrived at the White House on the winds of change can make good on his promises remains to be seen. But make no mistake, this audience promises to be a tough one.
Oh, I think he's got a very tough job ahead of him. I think he's got a lot to live up to.
In Duluth, Amy Rutledge, News 6.
As you all know, the College of Science and Engineering, we are pleased to present you with this plaque.
I try to make everything interesting, lively. I try to make it relevant. I try to bring things in that they can relate to on a day-to-day basis. That's might not always be successful, but at least that's my attempt.
Two hands.
Yeah, right. That's in my contract. It's only the football coach will promise you that.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming. You all know why we're here, the property tax issue.
County and the school district approved the projected amounts in their budget. There's going to be a lot of businesses struggling a lot harder this year than they did last year. We've got situations where companies are saying, hey, listen, I'll send you, you send me back all my property taxes, I'll send you all my profits. Annual increase of 11.7. St. Louis County has averaged an annual increase of 9.7, faster than most businesses can respond and most businesses can.
Everybody know exactly what's going on. To do this, we're going to need to do some research.
Let me jump in on that and give you an example.
National Steel's pellet plant in Keewatin set a single-year record in 1992 for production. One pellet line produced 5 million tons. But National's owners wanted an $8 a ton cut in costs. For several months, the Keewatin area feared the worst, not knowing if those cuts could be met. The rumors of a shutdown were rampant. This past week, however, a joint management labor committee presented owners with cost savings measures of just under $5 a ton. And now owners have given National more time, and Keewatin has new life.
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, if it wasn't for National, it would be a ghost town. I mean, it's hard enough to get jobs on the Iron Range anywhere. If National closed, it would be, devastating to everybody.
Cost reduction efforts are only part of National's future.
Owners appear ready to provide additional money for projects that will improve plant efficiency and cost effectiveness. Among the projects, a $23 million change in the plant's grinding process that would save more than $1.50 a ton. A kiln process to cut natural gas use by 40% for another 32 cents a ton savings. And continued silica analyzation that has already saved National over $8 million. National spokesman said today that these new efforts and company investment could eventually result in a cost savings of over $9 a ton, much better than company owners had originally wanted, which should secure National's future through the end of this decade.
To do that, you need to coordinate.
Right. It's not enough to just protect a bald eagle or an otter. We also have to protect the habitats where they live. And sometimes these habitats can be very large areas. And within these large areas, there will be a great number of different landowners or land managers who manage.
The next phase actually is going to be happening on the sea. The link between what's happening in the Lake Superior region and endangered species and how we need to work to protect species and habitats. Information changes, you're able to put that new information into law.
And what kind of changes would?
The vicious beating of an elderly gentleman in rural Clinton Township has nearby Virginia residents more than a little nervous. They're not used to seeing violent crime strike so close to home.
Shocking. It really is. Very shocking. You know, something like this in a small town or a community, you wouldn't expect it to happen.
I was frankly surprised to hear about it. That was one of the big reasons why we moved up here from the cities, to get away from that sort of thing.
But violent crime is happening in the smaller communities and with more frequency. In the past half year, the range has seen 4 vicious beatings, 3 of which involved elderly gentlemen. While not related, local authorities say the incidents do reflect a trend.
We thought we were immune from that type of crime in our small town rural areas, and we have been until now, and it's catching up to us. We find that, I think in most part, the perpetrators of these crimes are local people who have lived and grown up in this area.
30 years ago, you could walk down the street of any range city and find half these homes unlocked. But with the increase in violent crime, times are changing and people are taking more safety precautions, whether changing the locks on their doors or buying guns for self-defense. And that's a big change, where in northern Minnesota, in the past, guns were bought for hunting, not self-defense. And that worries people like Richard Lepisto, who say after a violent crime, some people may panic and purchase a weapon they don't know how to use.
People coming in here buying guns that shouldn't have guns and don't know how to operate them. That's why we got the Mason.
Since the beating, St. Louis County authorities say they haven't seen an increase in gun permits, but local merchants are reporting more sales of mace. In Virginia, Amy Rutledge, News 6.
Good to be back. It feels wonderful. We've been waiting for 18 days since reaching the pole, so we're very happy to be here. Mine was the second to last day. Seeing that pole out there and just being tired, so I just was really dragging. But overall, we hung tight and stayed together, and it was not too horrible.
Braxton Industries. This is another example of environmental opportunities to create jobs from some of the problems that we've created.
Braxton Industries said today it will build a new $2 million plant and employ 30 people here on the shores of Superior's Industrial Park.
The main reason that we've chosen this site is the fact we have rail.
Braxton currently operates a plant in Bovey and is the leading recycler of railroad ties. The ties are ground into wood chips and sold as alternative fuel. Company officials say it's an example of turning a potential environmental problem into a source of jobs for the community.
It's a problem that is causing groundwater problems with large amounts when they're buried. They can't be put into landfills anymore, and it makes a good fuel. We have a process of grinding it up. We're selling it to Blandin Paper Mill, which was the first one in the country to do this.
Blandin Paper Company in Grand Rapids is Braxton's chief customer. It hopes to add Lake Superior Paper and other large companies to its list. Ofdahl says the fuel produced from recycling the ties is safe, economical, and subject to strict MPCA regulations.
It's taken a lot of permits and a lot of problems getting it to a point that it works good. Blandin is very happy with the product now. It burns with almost the same BTU as coal and is less polluting. Our sulfur content is 0.047 versus 0.58 with coal. Environmentally, it's a much better way to go.
Company officials hope to break ground by this spring. Their goal is to recycle 1 million ties a year. In Superior, Amy Rutledge, News 6.
We've hosted Russians before, but not on such a scale. These are chief executive officers and presidents of some of Moscow and Russia's largest companies, industry leaders who know just how bad Russia's economy really is. If economic democracy is to survive, although it won't be easy, they feel workers must be given a financial interest.
So far we haven't had property, and now it's a very difficult process of transition of property into the hands of everyone.
Today's industry tour of Lake Superior Paper was put together by the International Business Development Corporation, a Minnesota-based company with offices in Moscow, trying to lure companies to invest in the Russian future.
Many of our people have lost their ability, their entrepreneurial quality that made our country great. And so the people that are getting there early basically are getting access to many of the resources and to some of the best partners in Russia, including many of these people.
The benefits of investing in Russia now could be instrumental in the future success of the venture. The Russians are known to take great value in those who make the effort to aid them, and it doesn't make any difference if it's Americans or any other country's people.
It's important, really, not whose monies would come to Russia, but how those investments are going to be used, and on what terms.
Companies looking to invest in Russia are generally provided with some sort of financial incentive, including a break on labor costs, which generally run about $15 a month per employee.
And we believe at this point anyway that the fire started under the floor in the crawl space in the children's library here.
The fire burned slowly through the library's huge support beams and may have been unnoticed for hours, remaining almost entirely beneath the floor.
There was extension underneath this floor, extension over into here where we had to cut out the floor back into this area, and it burned out a staircase, or the floor underneath at the bottom of a staircase in the back.
When firefighters arrived on the scene, there was very little heat on the main floor, but the old children's library was about to give way.
And the main beam that supported this floor is burned completely out in 3 sections here. That section is the only place where it's still intact. And when that burned out, the whole floor dropped.
The fire could have been started several ways, and the possibility of arson is clouded by the fire's starting point. It would have been difficult for an intruder to reach the crawl space below. For that reason, many options have not yet been ruled out.
We're not offering a determination yet because, as I said, we can't specifically eliminate electrical as a possible cause. There were a lot of wires that ran underneath this floor.
Because of the extensive damage to this room, the cause of the fire may never be known. What remains is the long process of rebuilding one of Superior's most famous landmarks. In Superior, Derek Hines, News 6.